It's very informative. It gave me an insight into a world that I'm not familiar with at all. And it touches on a lot of various issues like regulations that can cause stockyards to close, specifically the ones that are located within or near cities. So the emotional beginning when they announced the ending of the auction, you can get a sense that this was a very hard decision. So you get the history, but you also get this emotional point from these employees and employers' direct point of view about the closing of this specific stockyard. So it gives you sort of the information, but it also gives you this emotional approach too, which I think leaves you wanting to be connected to the story.
I found that this film pulled at my heartstrings and, it's just seeing something that was so central to people's livelihoods and people's lives, um, just end and be sold just like that. It was hard to see, and especially how all of these people were, not all of these people, but a lot of these people were in their 70s and 80s, and just seeing really so many memories and so many moments of their lives just gone, um, in one sale. It was really sad. Um, there's definitely something lost when this stockyard was sold. I loved hearing from everyone involved. They were interviewing people from all walks of life that were involved in the stockyard, and I think that was really cool. We had men, women, young and old, who had their lives based around the stockyard, and just hearing from them and their passion and the family, and the sense of community that they formed from this stockyard and from this livelihood was really cool to hear about, and see just the passion that they had for this life. Um, I loved hearing about the history of the stockyard, and that it was all the way from 1898. So it's been around over 100 years, and I thought that was really cool.
The film does an excellent job explaining the historical background of the growth and eventual fall of this stockyard and auction place in St. Joseph's. The drone footage of the area and the close-up shots of the animals were incredible. I loved hearing from all the people involved in the place, so many hardworking and dedicated workers and families. Such sad shots of the empty place now, but I am glad to hear that the area is still doing well.
We get stories from historians, cowboys, farmers, ranchers, and experts. A lot was put into this documentary, a lot of professional interviews with in-depth coverage. I felt like I got to see it be created since day one, and it was really interesting that we get this bittersweet ending to see the footage from the last sale of the stockyard. I think they wanted to play homage and tribute to the yard, but also show how much of a hold and effect it had for the community. I mean, there were so many people at the auction. I think there will be and come a great change after it's gone. We all experience losses from things we are fond of that have a huge effect on us, and these attachments that it's so relatable in that sense. Aside from the storyline, there is the cinematography that was really good. The editing was clean, the audio was smooth. I think it's very easy to just watch and listen to. You got this really upbeat music playing behind the auction. It's very exciting and special to see. Agriculture is important and impactful and has a big part of income in our country.
It's a really interesting documentary that celebrates a community coming together to earn a livelihood. As a vegetarian, I found it interesting the way that it didn't just focus on the meat industry, but also connected it back to the communities and the people and the families and the impact on their livelihoods that the stockyard had and that the ranching and meat industry in general did. I think it's definitely a really interesting perspective to kind of see the other side of where our food is coming from and what that looks like from before it gets to the supermarket. And I think the documentary does a great job of capturing the voices of the different people involved in the stockyard community and the loss that they're experiencing as a result of its closure in a really interesting way. I can definitely see this documentary being interesting in the future as part of a museum exhibit or archives in general.
I like how they show how the processes and auctions take place. And I think that's credit to the verite footage because we get to observe this taking place. I think the verite footage is even more great because it shows you the behind the scenes view and how important the procedure is for all that are involved in this process.